5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're now tuned into the 411 podcast and reading Between the Wines, powered by the Black Diamond Consultations Network. More than a podcast, this is a sanctuary for self-discovery, healing, and personal growth. Here, we explore what it means to live debt-free, not just financially, but spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Every episode is part of a journey across our weekly mentorship series: Spiritual Sundays, Mental Mondays, Transformational Tuesdays, Wind Down Wednesdays, Coaching Sessions Thursdays, and Financial Fridays. Each day holds space for wisdom, clarity, and real conversation. So grab your journal, pour your glass, and prepare to go beyond the surface. Because here, we don't just talk, we transform. And now, here's your guide through it all, entrepreneur, mentor, and founder of Black Diamond Consultations, Laren Gaines.
Welcome on in. Welcome to Reading Between the Wines. What's going on, everybody? Another week, another journey. Here we are in July already. Can't believe it, but it's here. So I'm embracing it and I'm loving it. I want to say a very special thank you to anybody out there who is watching, people who have been out there checking out the replays. Please do me a favor. If you're listening to it now or you come across this at a different moment, please like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend, hit the notifications, do whatever you need to do to support the 411 podcast, Reading Between the Wines movement. Tag your friend, text a friend, whatever you can do to bring people in to this session that we have going on here right now. I want to give a very special thank you to my executive producer. I want to thank God for giving me another opportunity to come out here and do Reading Between the Wines, for giving me another opportunity to continue to do what I love to do best. This has been a journey. This is a movement. And of course, I could not do it without the Most High, and I could not do it without each and every one of you out there who continuously rocks with me, who supports me during this journey. And I want to go ahead and say thank you so much once again. Here we are, episode 34, Reading Between the Wines. The relationship was real, but only in my head. Disc 5 restoration. This is Wind Down Wednesday, part of the mentorship series. So, listen, this is part of the coaching sessions. 411 podcast, Reading Between the Wines. This is part of the coaching session. So, if you want to learn, this is an alternative way of learning. Come into the mentorship series. Have a seat at the table. Speak with me. We dissect real life situations that you've been through, situations that I've been through, situations that people might end up in. But if you stick around here and you learn a little bit, maybe you can avoid some of these traps here, some of these financial traps, some of these emotional traps, some of these spiritual traps. This is part of the mentorship series. This is part of the coaching sessions. If you would like a seat at the table, please do me a favor. Text me at 609-200-1098. Again, that number is 609-200-1098. You may also DM me on any of my social media platforms, and you may also email me as well at info@larengaines.com for the exclusive information to see if you can sit at the table here. So yes, we are here with Wind Down Wednesday, here part of the mentorship series, and we have very special guest, author Birdman313 coming in once again. And I must say that every time I sit and speak with my brother here, man, we go through some hits. You know, of course, I remix it and I give you music, give you some inspiration, give you some motivation, wrapped up all in one. But man, we go through some music. And last week, we were speaking about a song that I just couldn't, it was right at the tip of my tongue and I just could not think of it. We spoke about Love's Train by the group Can Function, and the song that I was missing. I'm not quite sure if I got the title right, but it definitely is the OJs. And basically, the song was Your body's here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town, messing me around. So we helped out Miss Chanel last week, who was from Baltimore, Maryland, and that's basically what she was experiencing, being in a situationship, basically doing everything that she could for her significant other, trips, vacations, spending holidays together, doing all kinds of things that you would do if you feel that you were in a relationship. And she found out by scrolling on Instagram and seeing the stories that included his ex. After that happens, then all of a sudden we start to count all of the costs that it took for us to be in these so-called situationships, so-called relationships. And she felt a certain way after spending, I don't know, I'm just going to estimate maybe about $1,000. Could be more. I have no idea. We only get a snapshot. So again, I can't give you any advice here. I'm not here to give you any financial advice. I'm not here to give you any mental advice, emotional advice. I'm basically just giving you my opinion. This is what I would do if I was in your shoes. I don't know who I'm speaking to. I'm only speaking from experience. So this is not any type of advice here. This is totally educational and for entertainment purposes. So my opinion, if I was in a situation and I experienced something like that, count it as a blessing in disguise. Run as quick as you can and be lucky that that situationship that you were in only cost you what it cost you. Because I talk to several people on a regular basis and we're talking thousands of dollars. So if you got away with $600 to $1,000, and that's just an estimate, run. Everything starts with self. We might need to get centered with self before we end up getting wrapped up and trapped up into another situationship, or what we tend to call some days is a relationship. And Birdman broke it down as the situationship is basically the new term for friends with benefits. So be very careful of that. You don't want to have your wallet empty. You don't want to have your heart empty. You don't want to have, it's just no good. Say no to that. Track 34, relationship was real, but only in my mind. Let's get into it tonight. Oh, and also I want to let you know that we are sampling. I want to let you know what we're sampling tonight. We're back in New Jersey with Valenzano Winery. We're sampling Berry White Cranberry, a delicate blend of early harvest cranberries, which create a crisp, sweet, and citrusy wine. Again, summertime. I am basically giving you all of my exclusive white wines, rosés, blush wines, something light, something refreshing for this great summertime. Also, I want to let you know that we have 2 new students coming in on a mentorship series. Again, if you'd like to be a part of any of the series that we have going on a weekly basis, please text me at 609-200-1098. Please continuously check us out. Follow me on social media platforms. I'm on majority of them at Laren Gaines. I post various content across several different platforms. And yes, we have 2 new students coming in as well. So congratulations to all of the students that come through and check out and are a part of and contribute to the mentorship series. Let's get into this here. Song of the day, Forever Don't Last by Jazmine Sullivan, released in 2015 off of her album Reality Show. One thing that my mentor told me, nothing lasts forever. We get into these relationships, we get into these situationships, we get into a lot of different things, even friendships. And we say, promise that you won't leave, promise that you'll be with me forever. And yeah, we go back and forth. We think it's cute and we say, yeah, I promise. And, you know, I think of songs like Drew Hill, Never Make a Promise That You Can't Keep. And in reality, nothing lasts forever. And Jazmine Sullivan breaks this down after being upset over a relationship thinking that it was going to last forever, but nothing lasts forever. And during this process, you will pay. And you might say, what do you mean you're going to pay? You will pay every time you are in a relationship, every time you are in a friendship, every time you have an interaction with another human being on this planet. We all pay. And I'm not quite sure how much you're going to pay. That all depends on the circumstances. We can break it down as far as the dynamic of the friendship, the relationship, the situationship. Bottom line is that you're going to pay. And it also has something to do with how long you stay. You will pay, but it also has to do with how long you will stay. Now, I'm going to break it down as far as how we're going to pay because remember, forever don't last. Nothing in this world is forever. You might pay emotionally. You might pay spiritually. You might pay physically. One that you have to be very careful of, you might pay mentally. How many people you know get in and out of these relationships and then their mental state is not the same as it was when they first got into it. And you know what we do here on the 401 podcast, Reading Between the Wines. We speak about money. You might pay financially. If you have been around here listening, especially on Wind Down Wednesdays, there's this common theme, these relationship issues. And yes, we're here for a minute. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. Please share this video with a friend. Even though we are dealing with relationships, I don't want to rush the process because, again, this has nothing to do with me, but it has everything to do with the experience and it has everything to do with people who listen in and tune in. And I understand that, yes, I might be where I'm at here today. Some of the students that participate and help, they might be where they're at in their journey. You listening, you're on your journey, whether you get 50%, whether you get 25%, or whether you get 75%. The bottom line is that I pray that we all get something. And I cannot rush this journey. I cannot rush this process. So if there's something that triggers in you tonight when you're listening, if there's something that sparks something and interest in you and you might want to learn some more, you might want to share, again, please feel free to submit your information. You can text me or you can email me directly, info@larengaines.com. You're going to find out tonight when we go through the assignment tonight, when we go through the scenario tonight, you're going to see that forever doesn't last. So just remember that when you get into these situations, I get that we might think that we're going to be with our significant other. We might be best friends to the end, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to call it. But as Jazmine Sullivan speaks and sings, and you can hear it in her voice, forever doesn't last. But what she thought was going to be, she realized that it's not. And as you might be in a situation, if you may have come out of a situation, might be getting ready to step into something, and I hope that that's not the case. But listen, this is life, and we all go through some things. But just remember that when you step into that situation, when you make that agreement, you're going to have to pay one way or the other. Financially, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, you're going to have to pay. And let's just hope that if we paying in some of these labels, as some of these categories, that it's mutual and it's something positive and it's something loving and it's something uplifting and it's not something that's going to take you into a lower vibrational state, because you will pay in every single relationship that you interact with, that you get entangled with, that you are wrapped up with. And this is just so profound because I spoke about this a couple weeks with my mentor. Just remember the state that you were before you got into a relationship, the state that you were before you decided to lay down with somebody and take it there. Let's just keep it real. The minute that we take it there, the minute that we go there, the person that you were before is no longer. Once it's all said and done, once the dust settles, you will wake up a different person. Every single time that you lay down with somebody, every single time that you take it there with somebody, when you get up, you're in a different state than you were before you actually did what you had to do. Song of the day, Forever Don't Last, Jazmine Sullivan, 2015, off of the reality show album. Let's get into this. Wind Down Wednesday. We have this Valzano berry white cranberry wine. So yes, we are here in New Jersey, and I'm appreciating the temps that we are experiencing in New Jersey here right now. 86 degrees plus. I'm okay with that. I love that. This is a fruit wine from an early harvest, the early harvest of the white cranberries. There's no grapes in here at all. This is 100% fruit style wine. The average price of this bottle is $12. The alcohol content is 11.5. And the appearance that taste testers have experienced, and I'm sitting here looking at this here and I'm comparing apples to apples. The appearance is pale to medium amber pink. It's clear with a bright and inviting tone, and it's very crisp and light. The aromas, I'm giving it a good sniff. The aromas, fresh cranberries with tart citrus notes, mild floral hints, and subtle sweetness. Mild floral hints with subtle sweetness. And it's going to give you that vibe of fresh picked fruit. I can agree. The taste, we'll see if we line up with this 100%. Light-bodied, semi-sweet, but balanced with its acidity levels. Crisp white cranberry flavor with citrusy brightness and a gentle tart finish. It's clean and refreshing without any artificial sweetness. So that's one thing that I thought was very interesting, that they make this well known when it comes to this wine, that there's no artificial sweeteners in here. It pairs perfect with light seafood such as grilled fish and shrimp, chicken dishes, summer salads, soft cheeses such as goat and brie, brunch food. And fun fact about this is that, well, we spoke about this earlier, is that this wine is from New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey. And it's made from white cranberries. And it's solely from the early harvest. And of course, this is all locally grown here in New Jersey. And there's no flavorings or, again, they're letting us know about this artificial sweeteners does not exist in this wine. This is about a 4 out of 5 stars. And we're going to go through some of these reviews, and then I will do my wine tasting and let you know what I feel about this experience as we bring up Mr. Birdman 313. So again, this is a 4 out of 5 star wine, and some of the reviews say a charming, refreshing fruit wine, great for casual sipping and food pairing. A delicate blend of early harvest cranberries creates a crisp, sweet, and citrusy wine. And in summary, Valzano Berry White Cranberry captures the essence of local New Jersey cranberries, light, refreshing, and vibrantly fruity, perfect for summer gatherings, brunches, or for pairing with light meals. So listen, I think I did a pretty good job here of giving Valzano Winery some credit. And yes, there's been no sponsorship. They have not endorsed this episode or anything at all, but we go ahead and put that out in the atmosphere for future episodes. And on that note, I want to say cheers. Thank you so much to everybody for joining in on another episode of Reading Between the Wines. This is Wine Down Wednesday. I'm going to go ahead and sample this glass of wine here and bring up author Birdman 313, and I'll get back to you and let you know exactly how I feel about this. I like it. It definitely does have a tart finish to it as well. I feel it. It passed the test. Good wine. Now, what this has reminded me of is I sampled the Chamon White, and that gave me the essence of that Niagara grape. Even though that there's no grapes in here, and this is strictly white cranberries, I have a feeling that if you had both of these wines side by side, you probably would have a hard time distinguishing what is what, especially after you've had a few sips. So, very close to Lavalzano Chamon White. That would be a challenge if you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've sampled the Valazano wines, I think if you sampled the Chamon White and this berry cranberry back to back, vice versa, whichever one you want to do first, let me know if you think you would have a hard time distinguishing the two because this is giving me the same vibes. So, again, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and bring in author Birdman 313. What's going on, Birdman? How you doing?
Hey man, I've been down, man. This allergy has slowed me down.
I know last week you were speaking about that. Still going on?
Yeah, well, I went to the doctor today. And got a shot and got some medicine, so everything is starting to be a whole lot better. Hopefully,
You sound better. You sound better than last
yeah.
week.
But
You didn't sound. You ain't sound bad last week, but you definitely sound better.
plus, I had to change computers. My Acer computer kept it was static with what you were saying at first, and then
Mm-hmm.
it says that it was something wrong with my Acer computer, so I just switched over right quick to a different computer. So it's even coming out clearer on this one than it was on the Acer.
Oh, that's what's up. That's
Yeah,
good. That's good.
yeah.
I, that's what I'm rocking with, an Acer right now.
Oh, okay, okay.
Well, welcome in another episode. We got a lot of things to unpack here tonight, and I took some pre notes, and I got my pen and pad ready for another note. Uh, for tonight.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy the book last week, Money Hacks, 275 plus ways to decrease spending, increase savings, and make your money work. I think that it definitely added to the conversation last week. It definitely flowed better. So I'm going to stick with this book. We're going to rock this book out, see how much we can get out of this book
Oh,
because it has 275 ways to help you decrease spending, increase savings, and make your money work. So I don't think we're gonna run out.
okay.
Uh, so just give me a number. I know you didn't like last week with the they gave a suggestion as far as renting a friend. You weren't feeling that.
No, that wasn't it. It's just that I don't know. It was different. It was different. That's all.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't know if I'm renting a friend either. So I got
Yeah.
you. What number you got for me tonight? Let's see what we come up
Oh,
with.
let me go with 55.
All right, 55. All right. Hack number 55. Pay your bills up front. Think about the services you use that renew once or twice per year for a hefty amount, like, for instance, car insurance. The default option you probably see is you pay that bill over the course of several months instead of all at once. At first, you might be relieved to not have to pay it up front. But if you can manage the entire bill in one fell swoop, you could save anywhere between 5 and 15% for paying it in advance instead of monthly. If you don't see an option for this on your billing statement, call your service provider and ask if there's a discount for paying up front. Beyond the savings, paying up front is usually a flexible arrangement. You may be ready to pay your annual premium or other service fees this time, but the next time that the service renews, you can always switch back to monthly payments if your financial situation has changed. You won't get the same prepayment savings if you do, but you won't have to deal with the credit card or other interest fees in order to spread out those payments once again. So that is money hack number 55. Pay your bills up front. How do you feel about that?
Hey, that's what I try to do. you know, I will start off maybe first couple of months paying, and then when I find out that I can pay it up front and I will save a little bit more, then I'll do that. Cause then that way I don't have to forget about it. Cause see,
Mm,
I have a hot spot that when I travel, I use a hot spot when I go, especially to the different hotels
mm-hmm.
or, no matter where I go, I don't trust everybody hot, internet. And that's what happened this month, where I didn't pay it up top when it was going out, because like I said, I haven't been feeling the best. I've been trying to get some videos to people that I did at a festival 2 weeks ago, and I went on and did it today, and then I actually had to actually call customer service to get my old number back.
Mm.
And so I'm thinking about, it's another bill I'm thinking about combining and just paying like 3 months in advance, and then I don't have to worry about that the next couple of months.
And that is a good point too. Couple things I don't want to forget about that internet service. I have been to some hotels, some resorts and stuff, and they have some terrible. The last two times they've had terrible internet service, and that messes up the flow of the show too. So I know exactly what you mean by that. So I'm gonna have to keep that in mind when it comes to that hotspot.
And I was out, especially, I don't know why you would think that is not like that, but I remember I went out in Oakland, and I was at my friend's house, and he's an IT. He's straight up IT person, and I was using my computer at his house, and I don't think it was the internet. I think it might have been the music that I downloaded from him. And when I got
Mm-hmm.
back, man, I had to put my computer in the shop. It had viruses.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
it was another time where we was out there in California, and it's like really up in the San Francisco area. And by the time I got back, I had to go in. I had to do a complete clean. I've been going out in LA and San Diego and Vegas. I haven't had that problem, but I went on and got me a hotspot because I didn't want to have that headache of when I got back. I had to put my computer in the shop because it was so jammed up.
Mm, yeah, I'm gonna keep that in mind because the last couple times it hasn't been good. And I want to tell you that I'm not gonna list the hotels, the resorts that I stay in, but this is like a top notch one, and it's kind of disturbing that they have some weak internet signals. All I'm gonna say is that they start with an H, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And that's kind of unacceptable for that to be that way.
But you know what? You got to realize those type of hotels have the hackers. That's why when you say H, I'm like, okay, those type of
Mm,
hotels, that's where the hackers go, where they know, okay, it's people that's coming here, and it's gonna be people with money. So to say, or people, I ain't gonna say, yeah, well, yeah, people that I should say, people that can afford staying here, and they think that it's protected. But most places I go to now, because I have Norton, I have all the different, and you trust me, I pay a, a load. I'm gonna use the first four letters out, but it always notify me that, hey,
oh,
yeah, this is an unsafe site. Do you still want to go
mm,
there? So that's
right.
why I said, well, because I've always had a hot spot, because I lived in a place that didn't have no internet. So I started off with a hot spot. And then when I moved out here, I didn't have to have one. And then I started traveling. I had one. Then when I started traveling, I started taking it with me. And then I kind of like let it go. And just recently, I said, you know what? I think it was last year. I said, I better start using the hotspot again, because when I go to certain spots, it says the site is not safe, or so that lets you know people are there, and you never know who's sitting over in the corner waiting,
Mm,
waiting for somebody to get on. And then, because I always look at this: if somebody looking at me, and I'm on, when I get on my computer and they looking at me, I figure they trying to hack into my account.
yeah, that's a mess. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Huh.
just me, man. I don't say that for everybody, but that's just my feelings.
Interesting. You said you used to do this before, right? IT stuff?
Yeah, I got a degree in ITT, which is worth pennies. Worth, hey, I might well have a kindergarten degree.
Well, that don't feel a certain way about that. I listen to Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he definitely speaks about people who get these degrees, and yeah. So I feel bad. He has a lot to say about people who run and chase after degrees, thinking that these pieces of paper that we put on the wall is going to save us. Meanwhile, we could have done other ways to get to the same result, if not better. So,
Yeah. And you know what?
yeah.
I have not been able to get a job. Man, I got my degree back in 2013. And
Well,
I have not been able to get a job. So I'm retired now, so I ain't looking for one. But I got with somebody who showed me how to do mobile apps. I used to do that, but now, of
uh,
course, Google won't let us use that app no more, and they say you have to use our program. Which I'm like, oh,
mm,
that's all right, because I seen how much they charge, and
I,
I said, nah, that's all right. So I don't even do mobile apps no more.
only thing I have to say is congratulations, welcome to the United States of America.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, I got two degrees, and both degrees add up to less than a high school diploma. My high school diploma carried more weight than both of my bachelor's degree and my IT degree.
It's all part of the plan to keep us stuck in the matrix. It's all part of the plan, my friend. And listen, that you're here speaking. You're debt free, but think about the people who are stepping into this, who are already into this, and don't even realize it. They won't figure it out until they get out, if not years later. And the light bulb always comes on after it's too late, and they realize that wow, I got this piece of paper that ain't worth nothing. I can't find a job exactly for what I went to school for. And on top of this, the big crusher is I have a bunch of student loan debt.
Yes,
The one, the one debt that is unforgivable, that I don't care what you do, you can't shake it, you can't bake it, you can't do anything. Oh, they want their money back.
yes, that's true.
So that's the one thing. You can file bankruptcy all you want, you can do what you want to do, but they still want their money back.
Exactly.
So yeah. All right. So that was a good setup for us to get right on into tonight's assignment. We are going to your area, your neck of the woods, Texas. Miss Kiera is 29, living in Houston, Texas, and she works as a paralegal. And she's been in a friendship with this man. Let's call him Isaiah. For over 3 years, we talk daily, share everything, and have even gone on weekend trips together. But every time I ask, what are we? He tells me, we're just close friends. He slept with me. I brought him birthday gifts, supported him emotionally through deaths in his family, and even paid his phone bill twice. But the moment I express wanting something more or needing space to heal, he flips us and says, I'm being dramatic. My therapist called it emotional breadcrumbing. And I'm going to break that down because I had to do a little research, but I got you. She says I've started to realize I was more in love with the potential of him than the person he actually showed me to be. And the debt I've built up isn't financial, it's emotional. And I've been overdrafting my peace, my time, and my worth for a man who won't even claim me. So I'm here writing this letter asking, how do you emotionally disconnect from someone who will never officially be with you, Did I say that right? How do you emotionally disconnect with someone you never were officially with, excuse me, but fully invested in? I'll take that to the top. My name is Kiera. I'm 29, living in Houston, Texas, and working as a paralegal. I've been in a friendship with this man, let's call him Isaiah, for over 3 years. We talk daily, share everything, have even gone on weekend trips together. But every time I ask, what are we? He tells me we're just close friends. He slept with me. I brought him birthday gifts, supported him emotionally through deaths in his family, and even paid his phone bill twice. But the moment I express wanting something more or needing space to heal, he flips it and says, I'm being dramatic. My therapist called it emotional breadcrumbing. I started to realize I was more in love with the potential of him than the person he actually showed me to be. And the debt I've built up isn't financial, it's emotional. And I've been overdrafting my peace, my time, and my worth for a man who won't even claim me. So here I am writing this letter asking, how do you emotionally disconnect from someone you were never officially with, but fully invested in? Kiera, Houston, Texas. All right, Birdman, what you got for us tonight?
Well, I mean, that's friends with benefits, straight up. He explained to her, she said it was friendship. Just because they do that, hey man, you can't tell me, because I've been in the same situation before where I was, but I understood and she understood. It was just a friendship thing. Now, if we dipped and dabbed a little bit, that was on us.
Mm-hmm.
And she was seemed like she was looking for somebody to be there every minute of the day, and he wasn't, because she said they talk though. They talk, they go out, they go to dinner, they go on, I guess weekends. I mean, I know a whole lot of couples like that. I know women that will come up and say, "This is just a friendship thing, okay? So don't get your brains all wired up that it's gonna be more than that."
You know, I know exactly where you're coming from with this. And depending on the situation, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
No,
Hmm.
I just I
I,
just think that I guess she's young. First of all, 29, and I
mm-hmm.
mean that could have a lot to do with it. And she's looking for more than just a friend. All she want him to say is, "Yeah, you my woman." And,
Mm-hmm.
but it looks like he respects her. She never say he disrespect her. So I don't understand what her problem is, except that she's young, immature. Hate to say it like that. Not all women 29 are immature. Don't get me wrong. It seemed like she was looking for something that he didn't want. He wanted a friend, and he told her that.
Mm.
So I don't I do understand, because I know, like I said, and I known females that's like that too, who said, "Well, I wanted more." You should have said that at the very beginning. You said at the very beginning, and then that person will know. Okay, then I'm not gonna spend all this time with you. Now I may touch you, but I ain't gonna spend all this time with you and take you places.
You know, I think tonight, normally we spend some time in the spiritual realm, we spend some time in the mental realm, and most certainly the financial realm. But tonight, I feel that we are not really in the financial realm because she has not complained about being in any type of debt. And she did specifically say that it's not financial, it's more emotional. So I think this letter tonight is more of the spiritual, mental realm.
Yes.
And I'm going to say spiritual because she needs to do some self discovery.
And you know what? I'm
She needs,
quite sure that he's paid too. He done bought birthday gifts and Christmas gifts and Valentine gift. And he didn't, because she never said he treated her wrong. So I'm quite sure he treated her right. It's just that commitment thing that she wanted to hear that he wasn't willing to say.
Hmm. Hmm. So this is a different spin. So, you know, I would like to say that I'm kind of relieved that we're not dealing with the financial disaster of somebody who is has their bank account drained like what we have been dealing with week after week. So finally we have a little relief there. But here's the thing. You got to be very careful because when you don't know who you are, people will swoop in and they'll come in and they'll pick you up and they'll spot that you don't know who you are, and they'll swoop you up and they'll shape you and mold you and twist you into the person that they want you to be. And because you don't know who you are, even though you might have entered into that situation financially stable, you can exit being unstable and in debt.
Yes.
So I feel that Miss Kiera needs to pull the reins in very quickly because even though you said you ain't in financial debt today, remember when I said about depending on how long you stay?
Yes.
Well, depending on how long you stay, that could determine what that outcome might be. So
And you know
I'm going
what?
to take it.
Old boy need to be careful too.
Yeah.
Because she's feeling this way and say that he was out and maybe he's just standing up there talking with a lady. It has nothing, is nothing going on, and then she comes up and flips out on him in front of not knowing what the conversation is about. It could be a co-worker, it could be one of his relatives or one of his friends, female, or just come up and just say, "Hey, how you doing?" Give him a hug, and smile, and it's nothing to it. And she see that, and then she may approach them both at the same time and freak out. I've seen that happen.
Yeah. That's all I'm going to say is, yeah.
Okay, that tells a lot right there.
Yeah. That's all we're going to say is, yeah.
Yeah,
But again, a lot of that stuff happens when you don't know who you are spiritually, when you have no idea and you're not spiritually grounded and you don't know who you are as the human being that you are. You will operate from a lower frequency and show up that way. So again, this is a lot of emotional stuff going on here, and we're gonna dig into it. So that little scenario that you just threw out there, I could totally see that happening based off of this letter here. I could totally see that happening because it seems as if Kiera needs to do some soul searching and figure out who she is. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you know who you are, we wouldn't even be in this situation in the first place. Because when you know who you are, you're going to be able to hit those brakes and stop this and say, up, absolutely not. I have boundaries, I have standards, and what we're not going to do is put up with this nonsense right here. But when you don't know who you are, remember what I said, people will pick you up, shape you, mold you, almost like silly putty, Play-Doh. They'll shape you into the person, into the circumstance, into the situation that they want you to be in. And then they'll turn around and be like, yep, look at her over there. Yep, look at him over there, just blacking out, crazy, this, that, the next, the other, that scenario that you brought up, showing up, accusing, pointing fingers. Yeah, that's what happens. Now, I like the fact that you said she's young, which absolutely, because 29 years old, and you said that they've been in a friendship or relationship for over 3 years. So we talking about y'all probably met when you were 24, 25,
yeah,
possibly. So that makes sense. You talk daily, you share everything, you even going on weekend trips together. And every time we ask, what are we? He tells me we're just close friends. I don't know how many times, but I will keep saying it because I used to be hard headed too. But when people say something, especially in the beginning, within those first 30 days, that's exactly what that means. If people show up a certain way and show you a specific personality or specific behaviors, or something comes out of their mouth and they tell you exactly who they are, that's what that means.
Right.
Maya Angelou says it best: when people show you who they are the first time, believe them. And that's it. Don't wait the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, because they've already showed you the first time. And if you listen and you pay attention, those same behaviors, that same personality trait, these same situations, these same scenarios will continuously repeat themselves as long as you stand there and allow it to happen.
Right.
So
That's why I said
I think,
she even agreed it's a friendship. And then she turns around and said, "What? I mean, I don't understand." She don't seem to understand. He's saying it's a friendship, not saying that he won't ever change and start having deeper feelings for her. But right now, she's kind of running him off from going that route because he is looking at, okay, this woman is jealous.
oh, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check this out. Check this line out. He slept with me.
Yeah.
Now I want you to listen to that. He slept with me. She didn't say I slept with him.
Right.
He slept with me. So what does that mean? She asked him. He didn't ask you. You asked him.
Ex-
So he said, "All right, I'm going along with the ride." Now, if she had worded differently, like I slept with him, that means that he invited this thing and he brought it on.
yeah.
You asked him, "Oh, we're just close friends." So then you just turn around and say, "Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and we just gonna make this thing happen." That's exactly what you did. And then after you did that, not only you did that, you invited him into your situation. He didn't invite you in, you invited him in. And then now you brought birthday gifts. You're supporting him emotionally through the deaths of his families. And now you even paid his phone bill twice. This is where I said that state that you enter in, you got to be very careful, because when you exit, it can be totally different. Now, I'll give you a scenario of being debt free going into a relationship and then coming out being over $4,000 in debt.
Yeah.
You ask me how I
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Hey, trust me, man. You ain't got to tell. Hey, I walked that same plank.
now she says, but the moment I express wanting something more or needing space, he flips in and says I'm being dramatic. Well, is she being dramatic? And then she says her therapist, so now she's in therapy. That's okay. That's a plus. You in therapy, because now it sounds like you might be a little unstable right now. You He says he don't want you. We just want to be friends. But then you say, okay, let's go ahead and sleep together. That's somebody who's coming from an unstable standpoint. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. I appreciate you. If you could please do us a favor and please like, comment, share, subscribe, tag, share this video, text your friends, tell them to come right on into Reading Between the Wines. Definitely would appreciate that. So sounds like there's some unstable moments going on here. And then now even your therapist calls it emotional breadcrumbing. Now, see, I've never heard that term before, so I had to do my research. And emotional breadcrumbing is a form of emotional manipulation where someone intermittently sends small, suggestive messages to another person without without the genuine without the genuine intent of building a relationship, just basically putting it out there, whether you flirt through social media, whether you text, do whatever you need to do to string this person along. And there's a song from a group that I love back in the late or 80s, the late 80s, heading into the early 90s, from Loose Ends, called Hanging on a String.
Yep. Yeah.
So now that reminds me of what's going on, and this record here says it all. You know, you playing games, you contemplating, and you got me hanging on a string. I'm not your plaything. And that's exactly what's going on here. So you trying to back away, you trying to get yourself together, and he's like, you're just being dramatic. So you might be in dramatic for one aspect of it, at least that's my opinion. Again, I'm not here to say one thing one way or the other. But when he says that we are just friends, why are you opening the door? Why are you doing all these extra things? You might be a little dramatic. You're bringing the drama. You're bringing it on yourself.
Exactly. Cause she said he keeps saying we're just friends, and like I said, I it's crazy because like I said, I know plenty of women play this game more than a lot of men do. A man be like, oh yeah, man, she down, she this and that, and then next thing you know, you see him, he walking around, looking sideways, and oh man, she this, she that. Yeah, well, you know what? She let you know that from the very beginning.
I've always asked this question, and I know we halfway through this letter, but see, I seem to think that women play this game a little bit better than men. I've always asked this because, I always say that men are dogs, this, that, the next, the other. We get this bad rap. But who do you think cheats more, men or women?
Women,
And
but
they're kind of good at
but you know
it from
what
what
though?
I've heard.
I learned this from older women where I grew up in my hometown, and man, I seen some. They say, oh yeah, they say, oh, you're a cutie and you got a lot of things going, but you need to be careful messing with this person here, messing with that person there. Said because she's seeing somebody else too on the side. And
Mm. And
it was always older women in my hometown that was kind of always telling me this stuff. And then I'm like, okay then. And she said, hey, she said, you might be all right. And she said, but you know what? She ain't ready to settle down. And I've heard women say, oh, I'm not ready to settle down, but we still can do what we do.
mm, just like what we were speaking about last week with that song with the OJs.
Yes.
Your mind is, your body's here with me,
And you
but your mind
is
is on the other side of town messing me around.
exactly.
Hmm.
And and like I said, I've seen, I know one personally, and she would not let a man live at her house. And
That's
she had three daughters. Don't get me wrong, but
okay.
she was a big time player. I know she was dating this guy. He played professional baseball for a few years from my hometown. And then when he was off and gone, oh, she was glad for him to get on down the road. Cause then she had her other guys. She had her other guys coming through. And then she moved down here, and then she would even talk to me about that. She said, "You need to be careful about her. Say she out for your money or what she can get, or she ain't ready to settle down." I'll be like, "How you know?" She said, "Huh, I'm a woman." And that's all needed.
Hmm.
That's all needed to be said. And I'm like, okay,
Well, that's going to be a topic for another day. When is it wise to move in with your significant other, or is it better off if you both have two different places? I'll put that on a
yeah,
park of mine next time.
yeah,
Is it wise?
yeah,
Because I have two different aspects of it, and my mentor has definitely schooled me a lot in this category here.
yeah.
Is it wise for you to move in with your significant other and y'all cohabitate together, or is it best if you both live in two different places and maintain a relationship that way? The outcome will definitely blow your mind. I don't think we have the time to go through it tonight, but maybe next week,
Yeah,
and, and the outcome will blow your mind. Because I know some people are thinking, yeah, it's cool to move in, and then other people are thinking, absolutely not. But what if I tell you that nobody is wrong in this scenario here? It all depends on how you going into it and entering it. We'll just leave it that way. But yeah, yeah.
and see, like I've always been told, a mature person can handle stuff like that, but immature person can't.
And so there you go, right there. That part right there. You got to know who you're dealing with.
Right.
That's why, remember, when you're getting into these situations, when you're getting into these relationships, when you are attaching yourself, because remember, relationships, friendships, jobs, cars, homes, all of the materialistic things that we accumulate over a lifetime, everything that you have in your life is all an attachment. It's whether you are allowing it to become attached to you or vice versa, whatever it is.
Exactly.
You are inserting yourself in that situation. So, are you attaching yourself to an immature situation or immature relationship? Are you attracting that? That's the bigger question. Are you attracting that? Because whatever we experience here in our world, just like what we're going here with Kiara, everything that she's experiencing,
Yeah.
that's inside of her. Because we only experience what we have inside of us. Is just pushed out on the outside. So you can say, oh, this person is a dog, this one's a cheater, this one is that. If we really knew what that person was like on the inside and we could read somebody, just like scan their body, you would actually see all of those same traits that that person that they're dating with is deep down buried inside them. They just chose not to act on it.
Or you know what? He could have been a dog like this and said, "Let's work it out. Let's see how things go." He could have said that, and she would have stopped asking about, "Can we be? What am I?" If he had said, "Well,
Ooh.
hey, let's just go along, see how it's gonna go, and work it out, and see if we can become more than just friends."
You know, you're absolutely right because, you know, once you get something, then people start to get a little different once they get it.
Yes.
They may not appreciate it. They might start to disrespect. They might start to, okay, here's a good word, not disrespect. One of the artists that came on the show several seasons ago, Lolly Mariah, I think it was 2022, This Too. She has a song called For Granted, where you take people for granted. You take relationships for granted. You think that people are always going to show up. You think that people are going to sign up for some disrespect. You think that people are going to sign up for neglect. And then when they decide to do the 180 because they realize that, no, that's not working for me. Now you feel a certain way when you're all alone by yourself.
Exactly. And see what and then he could be thinking that, okay, she wants me to call her my woman. What's gonna be the next step? Is she gonna ask for marriage? Because
Overthink.
hey man, I know people have done that where, well, he say I'm his woman. How come he can't marry me? How come he can't make me an honest woman? Well, that's between you and him.
Here's the thing that we still got to get through this here. Here's the thing that gets me is that when we have a conversation like what this gentleman has said from day one, we're just friends. If he said that we're just friends, that's exactly what that means. Don't go in 6 months, a year, to going through the same scenario. He already told you. Okay, so if someone says that I'm not ready for marriage, I will be in a relationship with you, but I'm not marriage material. I understand that that does not work for me, but I have no problem dating you, romancing you, loving you, doing everything except we not getting to that point. They might even be the point where they will get you a ring, that this is a promise ring, not for engagement, but this is just a ring just to show, I know who I am to you and vice versa. If they establish that in the beginning, don't start feeling a certain way months, years from now saying, well, why won't he marry me? Why won't she marry me? And then we start pressuring and having an issue.
Right.
You brought that on yourself.
And yeah, that's true too. And I mean, if he's introduced, hey, this is my friend, he's showing respect right there by saying, hey, this is my friend. Because a lot of people introduce people, say, oh, this is my friend, this is my friend. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm.
Oh, I don't know how you think, but I'm just saying, I mean, I and like by me being a counselor, and I dealt with different types of people. I've had people who say that, oh, he's just my friend. Oh, okay then. And then you say, how far the friendship go, and they said none of your business. Okay, then right there. But long, and it's a lot of people that feel that way. Hey, oh, this is my friend. This is my friend. Because you know what? The first time he said, this is my wife, oh, she gonna hit him up. And guess what? If he break up with her, Well, I don't know how it is nowhere else, but I know in the state of Texas, as soon as you tell somebody that they your wife, she start using your
Mm-hmm.
last name, and then you decide to walk away, she can actually take you to court and get a divorce.
I remember you told me about that, and the fact that you told me that lets me know that I will never live in the state of Texas, period. Because listen here, you mean to tell me, and I still find this hard to believe, and I remember we said this on the last podcast, and I'm so glad that you brought this up, but it really bothers me because the fact that you told me that you could just be chilling with somebody, and because you were with them, shacking up, cohabitating, whatever you want to call it, all of a sudden you're all married?
Yes.
And then because of that, all of a sudden she can run down and say that I want to file for divorce when you never even signed a piece of paper, you never even said I do. Is this reality? Please remind me, is this
But
accurate?
see, okay, the thing is too, if she brings in a letter, yeah, I don't care who the letter is, and it says Mr. and Mrs. with the same address with with your last name, that's considered being married. Because down here is 6 months. You live with somebody 6 months, they say you shacking where you legally married.
Oh hell no. Thank you so much for all that information. Absolutely not. The state of Texas, I thank you so much for giving me all of that wonderful information. But I will never reside in the state of Texas. Thank you so much for helping me make that decision because it was between Texas, Arizona, California, and what's the other one out there? I said Arizona. I don't know if I said it, but thank you for helping me with my decision.
And see
That Texas.
how yeah, I'm gonna tell you how that actually came about.
Mm-mm. Go ahead. I already said no, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
I don't know if you ever heard of Dave Winfield. He's a baseball
No.
player. He was living in New
Okay.
York. He was dating this lady in Texas, and she
Mm-hmm.
was going, and they was going around saying, he said, "Oh yeah, this is," when he introduced her, said, "This is my wife." So she got him to start having some mail come to her
Mm-hmm.
house with said Mr. and Mrs. David Winfield. When he signed that big contract,
Mm-hmm.
and then she approached him. I forgot it was how what, but they decided to split up. She divorced him, and no, he wanted a divorce. She said fine. She went to an attorney, and she brought a letter,
Mm-hmm.
and the envelope had on there. It was a bill. That's what it was. He had bought a home here. He was paying the bills. I think they had one or two kids. And hey man, he was like, "We're not married. There's no marriage license." Common law. But they said common law, and they said because it's on here as Mr. and Mrs. David Winfield, and then they signed papers like that. They
Wow.
said, hey, and from that point on, Texas passed that law where it says you live with somebody for 6 months, you're legally married.
Now, I think not excuse me. I think Pennsylvania. I could be wrong. It's anywhere between. I think it's 8 years.
Uh-huh.
If you stay live with somebody for 8 years. See, now that's a good enough time frame. You telling me 6 months for Texas, but Pennsylvania, there's a common law marriage that I believe. Don't quote me, but I believe 8 years. Then technically you're held responsible.
Right. And
So
go ahead.
go ahead. No. You go
But
ahead.
there's other athletes that have gotten caught up into that situation. They got a home right here out here in Missouri City or Sugar Land, and they got some woman staying in it. The male coming there, and guess what? When the lady decides she don't want to be with him no more, or he don't want to be with her, hey, divorce. Oh, well. Of course, you're gonna pay child support, but you might have to pay. I don't know. I don't know if Texas
Absolutely.
have alimony.
I'm sure they do, but you know what I have to say about that? Absolutely not, especially when it's not even legally
But
done.
that's just the way it is. A lot of athletes have got. got tore up like that, man. It's a lot of them don't won't even speak about it. They keeping it hush hush.
Well, back to what we were saying, we was going to speak about next week.
Yeah,
Is it wise to move in with somebody?
yeah, yeah.
uh, now we gonna wrap up Miss Kiera here. This is gonna be the kicker here. Kiera says, I started to realize I was in love with the potential of him than the person he actually showed me to be. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. So she basically dreamt up something in her mind, came up with her own conclusion in her mind. And Ayanna Van Zant, I don't know if you're familiar with her, but Ayanna Van Zant from Fix My Life says that when people come up with these delusional thoughts, and she said it somewhere along this way, this is not word for word, but when people come up with these thoughts in their mind and they come up with a situation and they're fixed on it, they're sold on it, there's no way you turn around and convincing them otherwise. Once this person has something in their mind and they're fixed on it and they know that that's what it is and they tell the story however they want to tell it, there ain't nothing you can do. You might as well just hang it up. So if that's what's happening, what she thought, she fell in love with the person that she thought, clearly that's what you thought. Person he showed you who he was, you didn't believe it when he showed you, but then you want to go along in your mind thinking of something different. It is what it is. And the debt that she built up isn't financial, it's emotional. So we clearly see that there's some emotional, there's some mental issues going on. And she's listened to this, people. She says, I've been overdrafting my piece. You're absolutely right, because he didn't do it. You did it.
Yeah.
I've been overdrafting my piece, right, by overthinking, coming up with stuff in your mind, creating scenarios that are not real. He already showed you and told you who he was. And yet here you are overdrafting your time, running in, doing stuff for the family, showing up for funerals, paying for this, doing this and do that. And your worth, absolutely, because if you know who you were, you know who you are, know thyself. You would not put up with this in the first place and not put yourself in a situation. So one thing that I have to say is that I give you credit for the fact that you recognize that you are the issue and you are the reason why these things are happening. Your peace, your time, your worth, all of the stress, all of the drama, all of that stuff. You have done this to yourself because remember, nobody can hurt you unless you allow them to. That right there. And her question is, how do you emotionally disconnect from someone who you never were officially with but fully invested in?
Walk away. I know it's easy. It's easily said than done, but she needs to just walk away and find some hobbies and just like I always say, the best thing to do is get to yourself and spend some time just solely by yourself. And like I said, it's easily said and done. Trust me, I know this. But that's what she needs to do is just get away from it all. Or, she may need to take a vacation by herself.
This is a spiritual retreat. She needs to get with herself.
Yeah.
They say God is a jealous God, and you should not put any man before him. And that's exactly what you do. You're making this relationship, this friendship, whatever this is, you're making that a God. See, we can make money, we can make our jobs, we can make people, we can make materialistic things a God. And God says, there shall be no other gods before me. And this is exactly what an example of you putting man before God. And the aftermath of that is never a good outcome. So you have time, you have an opportunity now, pump those brakes. This is clearly the spiritual realm that is lacking when you decide to put man before God. You need to figure out who you are. You need to back up a little bit, know thyself. Everything starts with self. And that's what that means when everything starts with self. It focuses and starts with you first before you decide to get up and run and jump and do something for somebody else. And yeah,
And like I said, she's she's really becoming a dangerous person to herself. by create by
Right.
creating a scenario that's not there.
Mm. Almost like some Lifetime type stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. 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 Now, they say that, oh, guys, they could be stalkers. And I'm not trying to make light of anything, but it's mostly portrayed as, guys being the aggressive ones. If I ain't know any better, this is a good scenario of a little Lifetime script here.
yes. And, she, I don't know. I don't know if she has any, sisters or any other female friends that she can just hang out with and talk to. But she do need to just back away from the guy and let him and just tell him, look, it's time for us to go our separate ways because and she need to let him know she's looking for. She might be the type that's scared to live by herself.
Again, not knowing who she is, because if you know who you are, you'll be okay with being by yourself.
Right.
People who cannot spend time alone and they just gotta be in a relationship. I can't be alone. Gotta get under the next one
Yeah.
so I can get over the other one. Yeah, you don't know who you are,
Right. And
and I
and
know that's
and that's her problem. Right. That's one of her issues is she's scared to be alone. And I mean, like I said, anywhere from take 6 months to be by yourself to try to learn yourself, or a year.
I give it all up to the Most High because I was those type of same. It's just like I'm sitting here talking. I was that same type of person. 2020 was the first time that I had to be by myself because of the pandemic and quote unquote the stuff hit the fan and reality hit. I tried to get into this relationship, that relationship directly afterwards, but God was like, absolutely not. Let me shut this door. Let me lock this door. Throw away the key. You gonna sit here and you gonna understand and know what situation is because we not doing this again. You are hard headed. You don't figure it out, but I know better than you do. So every single relationship or friendship relationship that I tried, there was always something that was like, ah, this ain't gonna work. This ain't it. This ain't it. This ain't it.
I mean, I can say that for me, I could take it or leave it. I mean, I've lived by myself for a long time, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I only lived with what one, two, three different females, and it's like this last one is the best. It,
That's a blessing.
yeah, it took me this long because the first one it was I've told you about that. The second one it was 25 years, and then
Oh,
we kind of like grew apart from one another, and she did what she did. I wasn't mad at right now. Her and I can talk. I mean, we have kids together, so her and I can
okay.
talk. When I go see my sons, I go. They live with her. She said, "Oh yeah, you can come over here." I go over there, give her a hug. We sit there, talk, watch movies, and there's nothing absolutely going on. Period. Now, my
Right,
first
right.
one, we can't do that. No way.
Well, Birdman, I give you credit because I can't do that with none of mine.
Uh huh.
I give you credit. There will be none of that today, and I'm okay with
Yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, that's just you know, like I said, I was brought up to mom said always forgive somebody. And so her and I
Yeah,
both, she said, would you forgive? But we was at one of my sons, my youngest one, he had a party. And she said, can I talk to you? I'm like, yeah, yeah. And she said, would you forgive me? I'm like, yeah. I said, would you forgive me? She said, yeah. And that was it, man.
that's good. That's a beautiful thing. But even if she didn't, and even as long as you forgive,
Yeah,
because there's such a thing as forgiving from a distance, you've done your job.
yeah,
You can't be art. God has not put us here to be in control of somebody else's nervous system. So as long as you forgive in your heart, for anybody out there that's listening, then you've done your job. You don't necessarily have to get that other person to acknowledge and say, I forgive you.
Yeah,
As long as you truly forgive and you release it from your heart and from your system, and you no longer have any bitterness, angerness, resentment, any ill will, and you want nothing. That's why they say pray for your enemies when you want nothing but the best for someone who has done you wrong and in some cases continuously do you wrong. That's a good indication that you're on your way to making it.
exactly. And I feel great. Like I said, this last relationship I'm in, this is my final. I know you said nothing lasts forever, but you know what? Yeah, you're right. Nothing lasts forever, but you know what? This one here, it's gonna last until you know.
Right, I know what you mean. And when I say nothing lasts forever, because something the dynamics gonna change. Either you gonna leave or she gonna leave, whether it's till death do us part.
Yeah,
No, nothing lasts forever. Like some dynamic is going to change. So you can think that you can hold on to something and it's going to be here forever, but that's not the case. That's not reality. And that's why we have to cherish every single moment that we are living in and live it like it's our last, because we never know what the tomorrow is going to bring.
that's true. That's true.
Wow, this was a deep situation here, but I think we kind of helped Miss Kiera out. I say focus on the spiritual, because the more that you lack and you don't focus on the spiritual realm, you are attacking the mental realm, and it's causing some mental anxiety, stress. It's just you doing a number on yourself, and I don't necessarily think that this boy, whoever you claim is Isaiah, I don't think he's necessarily doing it. I think you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah, and he sees that. Don't think he know. He sees that.
And maybe that's why he's like, absolutely not.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically what I was trying to say. He's sitting back
Yeah.
looking, and he's like, She's not the one because she's trying too hard. She's doing things without him asking. She's asking him. So
I
hey, he just sitting back and he gonna go with the flow. And if she was to say, "Don't come around no more," I guarantee you, he probably won't come around no more.
I know that's maybe I shouldn't be laughing at that. Maybe it's this good Valazana wine here, but that's probably not the right thing to do.
Yeah,
Wow. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment. Burning questions. If you have anything that you'd like to add to tonight, maybe we didn't answer it the way that you thought we should have. You might have a different opinion. You might have a different perspective. That is okay. Please do me a favor and text me at 609 200 1098. Let me know how you feel about tonight's assignment. Let me know how you feel about the burning question that we're getting ready to go into. This is a rhetorical question, not necessarily needing a response put out in the universe, but maybe we need to think about this eternally. Is it love? Anybody you've been there? We explain Kiara's scenario here. Is it love? Or are you just addicted to the idea of what could have been? I know a lot of us have been here. I'm just going to outright say it. We all have been there before. We thought that something was going to work, and we thought that it was love. We thought it was love at first sight. But again, we're like Kiara here, drumming up things, planning up things in our own minds, thinking that things are what they aren't. This is a little friendship, but here we are thinking that it's more than a friendship. They never committed. They never said that they agreed to it, but you agreed to it in your mind. You're coming up with your own, I almost want to say, like a little bit of delusional situations here, and that could be a problem. Is it love? Or are you just addicted to the idea of what could have been? Yeah, I would say that it's love on one end, but maybe that other person doesn't love you the way that you love them. Maybe you fell in love with them. Maybe you fell in love with the idea, but is it love, or are you just, here's the key word, addicted? Addicted to the idea of what could have been. You're just so fixated on what you want to show up in the real world. But right now, it's just caught up in your mental world and it's not reality. And if you were to ask that other person, Are you in love with this person? Are you in love with her? Are you in love with him? And if the words come out of their mouth something over the lines of hell no or no, that's a situation. So when I say a rhetorical question, I want you to think about it. I want you to think about where you've been. I want you to think about where you are here today. If this is very similar, if this rung a bell, if this is taking you down memory lane, because listen, I've been here before. I'm just keeping it all the way real. That's because I didn't know who I was back in the day, but today I know better. And when you know better, you do better. Is it love, or are you just addicted to the idea of what it could have been? Mm, burning questions. I just say that this is a little deep situation here, Birdman.
Yeah. You know what just crossed my mind? When you said that, I started thinking about it's lust.
Oh yeah, wanting something that you can't have,
Yeah.
absolutely. Wanting something that you can't have, and you just start lusting after it, and you got to be very careful because as men, and I'm not talking about just a man, but women. When I say man, I'm talking about both man and women. God made man. We will start to do some things and compromise who we are. Like she said, her worth is on the line. Yeah, because now you're starting to compromise and come out of your character and do things just to get what you want because you're lusting after. That spirit of lust is no good and it will bring you down. I was watching a podcast where a pastor had the spirit of lust, and it started off by looking at pornography and get up every Sunday, speak in front of the church, but then constantly was hiding stuff from his wife. And it started with pornography, hiding stuff from his wife. Every time his wife would come across the room, he slammed the laptop down. She asked him what's going on, and he says, "Oh, nothing. You don't trust me, this, that, the next, the other." He kept getting terminated and fired from church to church to church, okay? Because he had sex in his office. He set aside comment to this one at this church. One of the churches called him in a strip club and they said, "Listen, you got people following you, and here they are pictures of you being in a strip club." It was that spirit of lust. Meanwhile, his family was just caught off guard that they had to keep getting uprooted from church to church to church, and they didn't know why he couldn't sit still in a space for 2 years plus. I forgot what the situation was. The last church said, "Listen, these other churches didn't tell you, and they didn't put you on blast, and they didn't put out a newsletter letting people know why you got moved from church to church to church. But like Ray Charles, you got the right one, baby, when it comes to this church right here, because we gonna let everybody know why you're no longer here." I think this was the one where he actually had sex in his office, and they had cameras and they caught him. So they said, because the fact that these other churches just dismissed you and they didn't say anything, oh, we gonna let everybody know. So his wife and everybody found out. Long story short, this ex-pastor started working in a church to help people reform their lives, and he came across someone who was getting out of jail who was a dominatrix. And this dominatrix ended up, I want to say the word K, but I got to be careful. You know what she did during the act? Somebody lost their life. She was just working. She said, "Listen, I was just doing my job." And this individual lost their lives, but this is what they wanted. I'm a dominatrix, and this is exactly what happened. So as this pastor is supposed to be helping her get back into normal society, he starts lusting after the dominatrix, the ex-dominatrix. This story is deep. Offers her a ride home as she gets out of prison and says, "By the way, I know you don't do this anymore, but can you do me a favor and can we take this down memory lane?" She says, "No." He says, "Please." She says, "No." He says, "Come on, you can do it again." She says, "No." Next thing you know, he has rape charges and he gets put in jail, and his wife divorces him and everybody finds out about it. Spirit of lust.
Wow. I was getting ready to say something, but I'm not gonna say it, man.
I didn't know that we went down this crazy old rabbit
Yeah.
hole, and
I was gonna say I know majority of ministers that are in that same situation, man. I'm sorry to say that, and the numbers is higher than what's reported, and a lot of people don't know about it. But like I said, I've done a lot of counseling in different areas, and I've had stories told to me, and I just like saying, "Yeah, okay." And hey, man, after work, I get off, I go find me a drink, and burn one, and say, "Wow, man, this guy actually told me this."
it's baffling.
Yeah,
I was just thrown back by it.
yeah,
Mm. Well, that was a show tonight.
yes, yes.
I feel good about the outcome. We helped as much as we possibly could, and yeah, so we here tonight. We closing up. Your thoughts on the show tonight, and if you can lead us out of here by letting us know the updates on Birdman 313, what you got new, um, any appearances we got this weekend going into the holiday.
The thoughts tonight. This was more interesting than what I thought it was going to be. Because at first I'm saying, "Oh, this is short and sweet, and we're going to be over this in about 15 minutes." But a lot of things start as I was talking, as I was listening to you. Things start popping up, and a lot of things start coming back to my memory of some of the things people told me. So this is a good program because I think there's a lot of people out there that's in this same situation, and it's nothing shame about it because we all, and I say that we all have gone through a crazy situation that you think that you're the only one that's gone through it, but really you haven't.
Mm.
You know,
And go
and,
ahead. I don't want to
and
carry
there's and I admit there's some people who haven't, and they've been blessed, and there's more people that's gone through it than have not. And I hope that whoever listens, that they understand that this is not a knock on you. This is just life. And I'm gonna say where you can find my books at. It's at Amazon.com, Birdman313, bookreads.com, Birdman313. You can go to my YouTube channel. I uploaded some new videos on youtube.com/author poet Birdman 31355. You can find, I'm getting ready to submit new video on Spotify on the Coffee, Wine, and Words channel. Um, I'm not doing nothing for a while. I'm trying to take care of these allergies first. Actually, I'm waiting for something to come up next month, and I'm not sure. They contacted me and said they will get in touch with me. It's at a bookstore, or it's a book fair. It's in San Antonio. My youngest son knows where it's at, so he said, "Yeah, he don't mind." Him and my other son, the one that's listening, I know they're gonna show up because they show. If I'm having any reading in San Antonio, they there. And if I'm in Austin, my youngest son, if he's in Austin, he'll show up. So I have a good support system, but man, I'm just rest of this week, man. I'm not even going to the parks to walk. I'm just laying up trying to get over this allergy and get back so I can start doing things again.
Well, that's good. Rest is definitely key, but you sound good
Yeah.
though.
Also, I'm also on Instagram, Bert. I'm sorry, I forgot Instagram. I'm on Instagram, and I think you can go to author Birdman313, and really that's about it. I know it's a couple of platforms that I'm looking into, And like I said, right now, I'm just taking this time away, um, and that's about it.
Sounds good. And, I want you to come back with a poem before the end of this month. Come back with a poem for us and do some poetry before we get out of here, before we go into the next month. So think about that. Rest up, think about that.
Okay, I'll do
But
I'll do one next month. And I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna give you a heads up on it. It will be about the beaches, the ocean and the beach.
because this is the time for it. This is the time for it. I'm gonna say it again. This is the time for it. I'm in my element. I feel great. Flip flops. No, no flip flops. I take it back. I don't do no flip flops. Not the one with the little stringer in the middle. Nah, we do slide. We do slides.
Yeah,
Slides, if that's what we call them. Basketball shorts and a tank top. I'm right there. This is
yeah.
it.
And
I love this
and
one.
basically any readings that I do, that's what I'm doing mostly is just poems about being at the beaches. Because bunch, I have a lot of ocean and beach poems.
Yeah, it's here. It's here. It's here.
Yeah, and all ten of my books that's on Amazon, you will find at least maybe two beach poems. I think the last not now I won't include street poems in it, but the last three, Another Time, Outdoor Memories, and Perfect Thoughts, you'll find you will find beach poems in that, or parks, or Japanese gardens. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. I like that. I like that.
so I may just do one beach poem and then one poem about being in the garden, Japanese garden.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
Okay,
All right. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Of course, there's always wonderful insight here and breakthrough moments. And yeah, I know we definitely helped somebody out here today, one way or the other.
oh yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So again, that's another episode of Reading Between the Wines, and I will see you next week, same place, same time.
Exactly.
All right. Take care, sir. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you take care. Thank you again for having me on each Wednesday. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. This is when we get together and we start speaking about this music. I got two new records that I just write down. I'm always writing stuff as you talk. I'm writing, and my mind's just spinning. So I got two new records that I'm speak about as I close things up. So thank you for
Okay. Glad to be an inspiration to the music scene.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Have a good night. Take care
Yeah, you
now.
too.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That was Author Birdman 313. This has been another wonderful episode of Reading Between Wines. Thank you so much to everybody out there for still rocking, you hanging out there tonight. I appreciate that. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend, watch this replay, and keep this energy going. I want to say that the two songs that I spoke of, this is real life situations here, and I've always thought this thing up here. And this is why I say that thoughts are very powerful. You have to be very careful of what you are thinking about and how you feel about yourself, because your thoughts, your words, they become things. Thoughts become things. Your words that you speak over your life become things. And I remember back in 2020 when there was nobody watching, there was nobody tuning in, there were no guests. It was just something in my mind where I said, I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to inspire people. I want to be able to help uplift people because of the things and the places that I am in right now. I don't want it and I don't appreciate it. And this is not what I thought life would be. There's a record by Mary J. Blige called, There Has to Be More Than Life Than This. And that's exactly what I thought. And I was in the trenches. That's another song by Monica, The Trenches. And I needed to get up out. And I thought of the 411 podcast, and Reading Between the Wines was a gift. I was thinking of starting the 411 podcast, but Reading Between the Wines was a gift. It was given to me from the Most High. And because I didn't do that on my own. And the fact that we can come here tonight and go through something from top to bottom and cover just a plethora of so many different, I don't want to say topics, but different realms, different, I guess we can say topics, just different. We went from emotional breadcrumbing. We spoke about the financial aspect of it. We spoke about the mental aspect of it. We spoke about it's a lot of different things that we covered, put it that way, that maybe somebody got this piece. You over here, you picked up that piece. You picked this here. You picked this up. Birdman spoke himself from, he thought that it was going to be a quick session, but as we began to dissect and go through this assignment, and we uncovered so many different things. That's what this program is designed for. And that's exactly the feedback that I'd like to hear, and I definitely appreciate. And that lets me know that we're going in the right direction. And we spoke about people who are in things, coming out of things, might be stepping into things. But if you hang on and if you hang out with us week after week and come back, you might could prevent yourself from going into a situation. And the song that I thought of, because I heard Birdman say, blessed when you've been blessed by Patti LaBelle, when you dodge a situation, when God pulls you up out of a situation and you realize, wow, that's a blessing. Because what was the alternative going to be? Patti LaBelle, when you've been blessed, listen to that record. And Birdman said, listen, we've all been through this. We've all been through this. And a record that I can think of is You Ain't the Only One by Mary J. Blige. You ain't the only one. I know people make mistakes. We've made mistakes. But once we acknowledge it, like I said, beginning of the show, when you know better, you do better. It's all good. Don't beat yourself up. Don't stay there playing that same sad record over and over and over again. It's okay to play it, to acknowledge it and understand. But then we need to go ahead and flip that thing on side B and move along and say, okay, listen, A was a mistake, but I have another opportunity because there's another side of this record, and that's B. And we're going to do things a little bit differently this time around. When you know better, you do better. Now, if there is any single thing in this program that has sparked something in you, and I know that there's something, I know that there's somebody out there, especially when I speak about getting the finances together. Of course, we speak about debt-free living from the spiritual, mental, physical, financial realms. If there's anything that you said, you know what, I might want to learn a little bit more about that. That makes sense. I'm not quite sure about this, but I wonder about this. Head on over to LarryGaines.com. Sign up for a free 15-minute consultation. Apply to see if you qualify for the coaching sessions where we can guide you on this debt-free living journey. But one thing I have to say is that this is not easy. And I know one thing for sure and two for certain is that it's not for everybody. I'll say that again. I know one thing for sure and I know two for certain is that this is not for everybody. I had people come through this or inquire about this, but they just weren't ready. If you still are swiping credit cards left and right, payday loans, borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, excessive consumer debt that you were doing nothing to try to reverse that, and you're okay living paycheck to paycheck, this is not for you. If you don't like a few of those things that I said and you don't know better about the other, But again, I will repeat that again. You don't like a few of those things that I said, and you want to get rid of a few of those things that I said, and you don't know about the others, but you're curious about them. This might be for you. Text me 609-200-1098. 609-200-1098. If you don't like some of those things that I said and you want to do away with them, head on over to LarenGaines.com. DM me. Fly a kite. Do whatever you need to do. Trust me, I got you. If you've cut up those credit cards and you don't want to do it again, you can't do it again. Won't do it, can't do it. Absolutely not. When a little advertisements come in the mail, you rip them up and you throw them out. You want to spit on them. You can't stand them. You want to burn them. Don't send them no more to me. I'm done. No more credit card. That's for you. LarenGaines.com. Holla at your boy. We can definitely help you out when it comes to this debt-free living process. This is it. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. And yes, we do have the trolls out there. We do have the haters out there. I have to go ahead and put that out there too. Thank you all so much for joining too. That must mean that we're doing something here. And other than that, you can follow me on any of my social media platforms at Laren Gaines. And that's on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, D Live, Twitch, Daily Motion. Again, the official 411 podcast Reading Between the Wines hotline is 609-200-1098. Let me know how you feel about today's assignment. Let me know how you feel about tonight's burning question. And of course, as always, you can email me at info@larengaines.com. And on that note, I want to say thank you so much. And I will see you when I see you. Please stay close to any of my social media platforms as we go ahead and post different things at different times. So,
where growth is always on the menu, and every pore reveals a little more truth. The conversation doesn't end here. Have something to say? Want to weigh in on tonight's burning questions? Text us anytime at the official 411 podcast and Reading Between the Wines hotline at 609-200-1098. Stay plugged in across all social media platforms at Laren Gaines. We're live and in the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, D Live, Twitch, and Daily Motion. Prefer to listen on the go? The audio version is streaming on most major podcast outlets. Until we meet again, take what you've learned, sip slow, speak truth, and remember, transformation starts within. Powered by the Black Diamond Consultations Network.